The following is a production of WCMP Sports. It's time for section championship basketball action here on KBEK. Tonight we'll see the Milaca Wolves battling against the Albany Huskies. Tip-off is coming your way shortly, but now we send it out to the court for the pregame. And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of boys playoff basketball action here on KBEK. It is 95.5 FM KBEK, live here on the radio this evening for championship basketball in Section 6AA between the Milaca Wolves and the Albany Huskies. I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman, and joining alongside me here this evening is Andy Beckstrom. And Andy, once again, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be a part of a section championship, and always fun to be able to not only be in a section championship, but for the second time in this school year, being a part of a section championship for my alma mater.
Absolutely.
So, always fun to be a part of that.
Yeah, that was one in the fall that you got to be a part of, and got to see Milaca get the victory over Foley in that one, so that was a good one. Milaca has had quite the sports seasons here between fall and winter, and hopefully it can continue into the spring, but I think the Wolves are hoping that their winter season here continues after this evening. Of course, they play against the number one seeded Albany Huskies, and we were talking before the game, Andy, about this matchup, and Albany has only one loss in the season, and it was to Holy Family.
Yeah, they come in right now. If you look at the QRF through Minnesota scores, they're the number 3 team in state. They are the only team in Class AA with one loss, and that one loss, you'd think, okay, they're the only team with one loss, they should be number one. Well, that one loss came to the number one team, Holy Family. So they sit in third right now. Milaca sits, I believe it was 12th, if I remember correctly, as far as the QRF was concerned. And it, still a great season by the Wolves, and put themselves in this position, and that's where you want to be. I take it back, they were 16th. And that's where you want to be. You want to give yourself a chance to be in a section championship. They've played this Albany team twice, so they know that it's an uphill battle. They know that it's going to be a tough matchup. The first game early in the season, late January, it was a 13-point ball game that was won by Albany. The second game a little bit wider. That was about 2.5 weeks ago. It was a 35-point win by Albany in that game. And Albany's just been on a tear. They're a team, they're looking at hardware. They're not looking necessarily at hardware tonight. They're looking at hardware next week right now.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a team that year in, year out, we talk about the girls team, but this boys team as well, just year in, year out continues to get back to this section championship and seemingly always in the conversation for the state tournament. And yeah, if they're able to get the victory here tonight, they'll be, I think, maybe one of the favorites for that championship game at state. We'll have to wait and see, because the Wolves, they're looking for a huge upset here tonight. We've been able to call a couple games for the Milaca Wolves. Of course, to get here, they did beat Mora by 1 point, 69-68, and that was a fun one. We know that Milaca likes to get up and down the court, but so does Albany. These two offenses are very similar, because I believe it's Albany number 1 offense, and then you've got Milaca with the number 2 offense in this section, and they'll be going at it tonight. So we've seen kind of Milaca do their thing there against Mora, but it was almost a tale of two halves, because the first half they really got things going. They got their shots to fall. They were getting the rebounds. The second half, it's not that they weren't doing anything bad per se. It's just Mora kind of got on a roll, and all of a sudden Milaca went a little bit cold shooting, and Mora got back, and then it was back and forth until the very end when Milaca got a huge steal, went up, shot 2 free throws, got them to fall. They were up by 4, and all Mora could do at the last second shot was drain it to make the score a 1-point loss instead of 4. So Milaca gets here again. Their first game, though, that we called here in the playoffs, it was a bit of a lower scoring affair for them that they're not used to against Annandale. They won 46-34. We watched that one, and it was tough for Milaca, because you could certainly tell they wanted to get their offense going, but it just wasn't working the way they'd wanted.
Yeah, they struggled in that game shooting, which is not something that they've really had a problem with all season long. They just couldn't hit the shots that they wanted to. They were able to correct it against Mora, but at the same time, it was one of those games that they just couldn't find the measure. And whether that's a matter of being in a bigger gym where you have the wall, essentially, is what I'm referring to, behind it's a different depth perception type of situation, or if it was just, kind of getting into the playoff flow, whatever it may be. It was just a situation where Milaca just struggled to be able to get their offense going that night. But, their defense did pretty good. They were able to get a couple of key turnovers, and they really rebounded the basketball really well. That's going to be one of the keys tonight, is going to be rebounding and limiting turnovers. I think are going to be probably the two keys for Milaca in a game like tonight. And the way they started and had some kind of cold shooting against Annandale and then went cold a little bit against Mora, they're not going to be able to do that tonight against Albany.
No, certainly not. When you've got a team like Albany who, again, only one loss on the season, this team knows how to get on a roll and stay on that roll. There's not a lot of mistakes that they make. They're fundamentally sound. So it's a team that seemingly all around they are very, very good. Obviously, you have to be to get to this point. But yeah, you mentioned it for Milaca. It's going to have to be their best played game of the season. Whether it's a low-scoring game or a high-scoring game, they're going to have to play their best game of the season here tonight to beat Albany, but there's no reason why they can't. I mean, it's a championship game. Why not? Milaca, obviously, they've lost to them twice during the year, but it goes back to that old adage that everyone talks about. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a year.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things we've talked numerous times, and a lot of times that third matchup, even if they do win it, it's significantly closer, and that's kind of what we expect for the game tonight is, I don't think that this is going to be a 35-point game. I don't think it's going to be a runaway. I think Albany's going to give them everything they got. But Milaca's the type of team, they're not afraid of this situation. While they may not necessarily have had quite this level of success in basketball, the majority of these players were part of that football team that had all the confidence in the world and went to state. So they're not afraid of this stage. They're not afraid of this Albany squad. They're not afraid of this type of situation. They're ready to get after it and go ahead and take some hardware home themselves.
Absolutely, and we've seen them get after it. Got a little chippy in that Mora game, but yeah, this Milaca team has no fear. It doesn't matter who they're going up against. Maybe it's one of the worst teams in the section, or maybe it's the best in Albany. They are not going to back down, and I promise you, in those games where they did lose to Albany, this team, they never hung their heads. They never looked at it, oh, we're going to lose. It was always, let's get back, and let's get better in the next game and take it to the next team and show why we shouldn't be messed with. And they're going to come out in this one, and they're going to play their best game. They're going to show Albany why they should be feared, and Albany should be the one thinking about Milaca here this evening. It's going to be a fun one. It should be very good. I'm sure we'll see a lot of points here. I wouldn't be surprised, though. We've seen a lot of games where it's like, oh, this might be a higher scoring game. All of a sudden it turns out it's a little bit of a lower scoring game. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one does turn maybe into a little bit of a lower scoring game, just because both offenses love to push the pace. They love to go up and down the floor. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we do see a little bit of a lower scoring game, but I'm still expecting a ton of action here in this one. And we've seen these players play here before, and one thing with Milaca is usually for some teams you might see one player. He does it all. He kind of seemingly does it all. This Milaca team, some of the guys may not get the stats, but you can tell all of these players that are on the floor at once can do it all, whether it's starting or coming off the bench.
Absolutely. They're a very balanced team. One of the big things that they have going for them is a guy like Kyle Martin. They have Martin and a couple of guys, Peyton Hunt, that they're big guys. Usually you see a guy that's like 6'2 to 6'4, they're going to be playing a center role, they're going to be down low, they're going to be banging away, they're going to be doing things like that. Both of those guys are guards.
Yeah.
Both of those guys play on the perimeter. They're kind of a matchup problem in a way. You can put them up top, you can put them down low, they can crash the boards, they can get after it. They are kind of a matchup problem as long as they can hit their shots, as long as they stay within themselves and don't get rattled and don't start trying to force things. They could really give Albany a solid run.
They really could, and we've talked about quick starts before. I think that's been maybe one of the biggest things we talked about is quick starts here in this one. Albany obviously going to look for that, but I think if you're Milaca, one of the things you want to do is yes, you want to get that quick start, but like you mentioned, you want to play within yourselves. You don't want to get too far ahead, because we've seen, Milaca kind of do that against Annandale. They kind of got a little ahead of themselves, and that's when they started to trail and started to reel a little bit. They kept it close, obviously, enough to win in the second half, but I think against a team like Albany, you're going to have to play within yourselves, not get too up, too high, too low. That's where the mental stability and the emotional stability is going to come into play, and these two teams look ready for it. We are going to take a commercial break. We'll get our national anthem and our starting lineups announced, and when we come back, we'll be ready for tip-off here inside Hollenbeck Hall for this game on the campus of St. Cloud State. You're listening to the Section 6 AA Boys Basketball Championship here on 95.5 FM KBEK.
This high school sports season, Wellia Health wants to remind you that they want to help your athletes stay in the game. Sports medicine services are available at every Wellia Health campus. Whether it's the young athlete, the weekend warrior, or the accomplished athlete, injuries can happen. Get back in the game by calling the sports medicine experts at Wellia Health, 320-679-1313. Wellia Health. Live life well.
Keep your home or business comfortable this winter by getting a furnace tune-up from Dale's Heating and Appliance. A tune-up from Dale's will keep your furnace running at peak efficiency so you can stay warm all winter. And Dale's offers financing on new heating systems as well. Your hometown heating expert is Dale's Heating and Appliance. Avoid costly repairs and call Dale's Heating and Appliance at 320-629-3531 or find them online at dalesheatingandappliance.com. dalesheatingandappliance.com.
Did you know that Franzen Bank and Trust is a Minnesota-owned company? And they're one of the largest community banks around. That's a great combination. As a community bank, they're dedicated to their customers and the communities they serve. You might say they're big enough to help, small enough to care. Last March, they provided $20,000 in grants to 6 different Minnesota communities. They also processed well over 1,700 PPP loans, allowing local small businesses to keep their employees on the payroll during the pandemic. Franzen Bank and Trust. Real people, real results. Member FDIC.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a 4-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTCC offers more than 50 degrees in hot fields like healthcare information technology, advanced manufacturing, and business. PTCC is now accepting applications. Financial aid may be available online at pine.edu. Starting out or starting over, find your future at Pine Technical and Community College.
Stones Throw Golf Course, nestled along the scenic Rum River in Milaca, is open to the public. They are owned by its members, so every decision made is made by golfers for golfers. Stones Throw Golf Course challenges the serious golfer with a thought-provoking layout, while at the same time relaxing the casual player with its wonder and scenic beauty. It's more than a golf course. It's memories made with family and friends. 18 holes of golfing bliss on some of the best greens this side of the Mississippi. We look forward to seeing you in the spring.
Everyone has a long to-do list nowadays. With a busy schedule, it's easy to forget about yourself. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule a quick and easy checkup with Dr. Matt at Northbound Dental in Ogilvie and Milaca. Dr. Matt and his team believe life is better with healthy teeth and would love to see you and your family soon. Make an appointment today at northbounddental.com or visit them on Facebook. Family Dentistry in Ogilvie and Milaca. We look forward to brightening your smile. northbounddental.com.
Building relationships with hometown service. In its 90 years of business, Milaca Building Center and Foley Lumber has loved serving its community, providing quality lumber and great customer service. Milaca Building Center and Foley Lumber want to thank their valued customers for their patronage and their continued support throughout the years. They look forward to working with you on any of your future needs. Your hometown building center, hardware store, and lumber company, Milaca Building Center and Foley Lumber, building relationships with hometown service.
Back here on 95.5 FM, KBEK. Just about set for tip-off here inside Hollenbeck Hall on the campus of St. Cloud State. Looking at your starting lineups, we'll start with the Albany Huskies, even though they're technically the home team here this evening. Albany Huskies are head coached by Corey Schlegel, wearing their black home uniforms with their purple numbers and letters with white outline. Should be fun to try and read those numbers. And starting for them, it'll be number 0, Zeke Austin. Number 11, Tanner Reese. Number 22, Tyson Garretts. Number 23, Sam Hondel. And number 44, Ethan Borgerding. On the other side for the Milaca Wolves, head coached by Caleb Anderson, wearing their white away uniforms. Red numbers and letters outlined in black. It'll be number 1, Kyle Martin. Number 2, Peyton Hunt. Number 10, Lewis Wolbert. Number 12, Braden Taylor. And number 34, Trace Haas. These two teams just about set to go after it here this evening. It should be a fun one as we have 18 minutes up on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Embrace Orthodontics custom braces or Invisalign with 3 locations in Pine City, Lindstrom, and Cambridge. EmbraceMN.com. Both these teams are set to do battle here, and it's not just a section championship game, it's also a conference game as well for these two teams. So
Well, that's something we've talked to multiple coaches about. You get to this point in the season, there really aren't any secrets.
Right.
You've seen them not only multiple times throughout the course of the season, but you now had a chance to, in section games leading up to this, if you get there early or if you get there late, whatever, stay late or whatever it is, you get a chance to see them. This is probably the 5th or 6th time this year that you've been able to see them, not including some of the past years where you kind of build into that.
Right.
So there's not a lot of secrets here. You know what you're getting up against and you know what you're doing. It's just going to be, who brings the extra effort.
Absolutely, and well, I'm going to name a key player here tonight. I think it's going to be Wolbert. Wolbert, the last couple games, we've seen him. He's got some pretty good handles with the ball, but he can go inside, and he can float, and he can lay that ball in just with utter finesse. And I'm going to be looking to him to maybe he'll get this team started or maybe even keep Milaca in it. We'll have to wait and see, but the Wolves win tip-off here, and it's Braden Taylor who starts with it. He gives it off to Wolbert. And again, we can name a key player, but it's going to be up to an entire team as Peyton Hunt wanted to go inside, pass it back out to Taylor, now to Haas, now to Wolbert. Hunt looking to drive inside. His shot is blocked there by Tyson Garrett's.
Good drive, be able to get some dribble penetration there. He didn't have much of an angle to be able to shoot on it, so really that's the best result you can kind of hope for. It gets the crowd into it, but at the same time, you get the ball back, so you're not turning it over.
Exactly, and I thought the last drive that he made, he probably had a chance to lay that one in, but instead he passed it off for a 3, but Taylor couldn't bring it in cleanly. But now, as Andy mentioned, the Wolves do have it back after it went out of bounds. Wolbert with it, he gives it off to Hunt on the far side, now to Haas. Milaca Wolves are going right to left on your radio dial. Huskies will go left to right.
Dangerous pass over to the far side. Garrett's tried to steal that one.
Yeah, he almost had it stolen away, but Wolbert falls and he manages to get it to Taylor. Maybe got lucky on a no travel call as Wolbert has it back, trying to drive inside, pass it back outside. That's a long 3, but it's good from Trace Haas to get things going for Milaca.
That is some tremendous patience shown by the Wolves that time. We talked about how they like to run, they like to score, they like to get after the basketball. They're very, very aggressive. But you could tell that was a possession that they just didn't have everything lined up right in front of them, so they didn't force it. They took what was in front of them with some patience.
Absolutely, great patience shown by the Milaca Wolves. And we can go back to the Moore and Annandale game where that might be a possession where they kind of rush something. They rush a shot, but not there. They have definitely watched film of themselves and corrected that mistake. Garrett looks, and his shot is blocked.
Beautiful play there by Wolbert. Stole the ball as he was going up. It bounced once. I thought that it bounced out of bounds, but there was no whistle. Wolbert realized that and then dove forward, threw it back up off of Garrett's leg. Garrett didn't even know it was coming.
That was the best thing that Milaca could hope for right there, is now they get it back on offense. It's Wolbert with it. He's going to call out an offensive play, and he looks for a screen from Taylor. He gets that screen, and now Wolbert, a little bit of a float. Oh, my goodness!
Wow, you said he was going to be a difference maker, but when you start hitting shots like that, you get things like that to fall. That says a lot about the way the night potentially could go.
Wow. An absolutely awkward-looking shot from Wolbert. I thought it had no chance, but he must have a GPS tracker on that or something, as he does miss the free throw. But either way, he got it to fall through, and it's a 5-0 lead here for Milaca. And a great start for Milaca. Let's see if they can continue. Obviously, Albany is going to find some shots to fall, but can they continue on offense as Reese for 3 is no good. Wolbert there for the rebound. Quickly up the court to Taylor. And his shot's a little high and going to be no good. Rebounded there by Garrett. And that one, you can't blame Milaca on that one. They tried to just go get it, but a little too strong on the layup.
That was absolutely what they were looking for.
As now Sam Hondel will hit a 3 for Albany to make it 5-3. Milaca still with the lead, and
on that last possession on the fast break, it's absolutely what you're looking for. I think that Taylor just ran into a situation. He was expecting a little bit of contact and kind of got a little strong on the lay-in.
As now Wolbert will have it back on offense, and no, can't get that one to fall. Thought it was going to fall again, but Burgerding going to get the rebound for Albany. He'll bring it back up the court. Albany now with it. They trail 5-3 with 15 minutes to go here in half number 1. With it now is Hondel, and he'll give it off to Austin. Zeke Austin looks for a screen. He gets around the screen, looks to drive inside. He puts up a floater. That drops through, and we're tied at 5.
Great job by Austin. He just got a little bit of a space to work with on that left side. Little floater because there was really nobody that had a good angle in front of him to be able to get a touch on the basketball.
Taylor has it, and he gives it off to Kyle Martin. Martin now to Haas, inside to Hunt. And one thing with this Milaca team, it's Hunt and Martin that you got to be careful with inside, but missing that one are the Wolves, and Borgerding another rebound for Albany. And here comes Austin again for the Huskies. He now gives it off to Hondel. Hondel looks to drive inside, pass it back out on the far side for Garrett's. Garrett's no good on the shot, and it's going to be rebounded here by Wolbert. Took a weird bounce, but Wolbert winds up with it. Wolbert going to drive inside, and he looks to keep his drive inside. Instead, backs it out to Haas off the front of the rim, no good. Borgerding right there for the rebound, and already I can tell Borgerding going to be a problem to get around for the rebounds.
Milaca is pushing it just a little bit. I don't want to say they're quite forcing it, but they're definitely a little ahead of themselves, trying to get extra points as this game goes along.
Yeah, it felt a little rushed these last couple, but we'll get a first foul here on Milaca on the shot. And that's going to be on Braden Taylor, his first, and of course the team's first. And at the line to shoot two is Ethan Borgerding. So the Huskies and Wolves are tied at 5 with just under 14 minutes to go here in this first half. Got a lot of spin on that one, but it helps because it spun off the front of the rim and then fell through.
Definitely a lot of roll with that one. Nice friendly bounce, I guess, for the home team. Not really home, but...
Borgerding drops them both through to make it 7-5 in favor of Albany. If you're Milaca here, I think one of the things that Coach probably tried to get a message relayed was, hey, just settle it down just a little bit. We're fine. Don't need to get ahead of ourselves. Braden, Taylor. That was the shot just off the mark, and Zeke Austin with the rebound for Albany. And then, Milaca gets bailed out. A pass intended for Ethan Borgerding goes way in front, and he's not able to catch up to it, and Milaca gets it back.
The pass was intended to lead him to the basket as he was still running straight up the court, which he was going to run out of real estate, and I don't think he knew where he was on the court.
Now the Wolves have it back off a turnover. That's Trace Haas. He gives it off to Wolbert. Wolbert testing the defender, seeing what he wants to do. Backs it out, now tries to drive inside. Backs it out, Trace Haas left alone, far side three. That's going to be no good. And it's Austin with the rebound here for Albany. And so far, Albany has done a pretty darn good job of getting those rebounds on the defensive side. As now Austin gets a screen from Borgerding. And it looks like we're going to get a foul here on Milaca. It'll be their team's second, and we'll find out who it's on here in just a moment. I believe that's Trace Haas, who they called for.
Albany and most of the Granite Ridge Conference, they are not afraid of trying to drive inside and make contact happen. This is going to be a physical game, and what I like so far, at least from an officiating standpoint, is the fact that we don't have the officials the one game where everything was a touch foul. This is going to be a game where you're going to have to bring the physical nature to the basketball court.
Absolutely, and you got to love that because it's a section championship game. You got to let them play a little physical, I think, as now Garrett's looks for a shot inside. Nice pass, but Lewis Wolbert says, that's mine. Takes it the other way, now gives it up to Peyton Hunt for two.
Beautiful on both ends. It was a really nice cut and a really nice pass, but an absolutely phenomenal job by Wolbert of sinking into that lane.
Zeke Austin, oh my. Quick three, and then, he just absolutely drilled it. Makes it 10-7, the lead for Albany. Wolbert has it back on the offensive side. Braden Taylor with it. He wanted Haas, instead gives it back to Wolbert, top of the key. 12-10 to go here in the first half. Kyle Martin tries to drive inside. Looks like we're going to get a...
It was a traveling violation as he didn't expect the ball. He was actually kind of looking away, and when the ball got to him, it got not tied up, but a hand in the area kind of hit the ball just a little bit, so he wasn't able to put it on the ground right away. Just that little bit of hesitation, he got a little happy feet on it, trying to get the ball free.
So an unfortunate mistake there for Milaca. Gives the ball back to Albany, who leads 10-7. Under 12 minutes to go. Inside to Garrett's. He's fadeaway two is no good. Kyle Martin gets the rebound for Milaca. Wolbert, of course, will bring it up the court for the Wolves. He gets a screen, now tries to drive inside. And that shot no good. And the rebound there. Can't quite see the number. That's going to be number 3. And speaking of 3, no good for the Huskies as Kyle Martin gets the rebound.
I like the screen and the quick drive by Wolbert. He can sense when he's got a defender that he's got beat, and he can just get right to the basket.
As now Haas has it. He'll give it off to Kyle Martin for 3, and right now the 3 ball just a tad off for the Wolves. And it looks like they might be trying to shoot from that long 3, the men's or the college men's 3 line right now. As Voss for 3, that's going to be no good. Tipped around and rebounded there. Garretts comes up with it. And we get a foul here on Milaca.
Borgerding was battling inside with Haas, and Haas just got an arm around him as he was trying to come around to front him. And that created the foul. Just kind of had him wrapped up just incidentally because of positioning. That's going to be what the foul is going to be. What I was going to mention before on that last possession, the Wolves are going to need somebody, whether it be Trace Haas or now Jagger Ash into the ball game, to kind of play that role to reference a Mora basketball player of like a Dallas Fix. Somebody that's going to grind underneath, battle for some offensive rebounds, and play just kind of a smart inside game. And they don't really have that right now. They're just shooting and moving back on defense.
Yeah, and unfortunately Jagger Ash is going to pick up his first foul. So that will send Albany back to the line, and it's Ethan Borgerding once again. He drops in the first one, and yeah, right now, kind of nothing doing on the offensive rebound side for Milaca, but yeah, like you said, it would be nice if they could get that rolling, because if they could, it's the second chance opportunities that we mentioned. They could really use a couple of those right now, could Milaca, as they trail by 5 again.
And Albany's not crashing the boards. They're basically letting Borgerding basically kind of control that inside, and then if there's somebody in the area, but they're not exactly getting after it.
And a 3 here. Oh, it's halfway down for Peyton Hunt. No good. Borgerding comes up with the rebound for Albany. And the Huskies will take it the other way. Yeah, that was a tough one, Hunt. I mean, he should have had it. They were about to press the 3 on the scoreboard buttons, but unfortunately it rattles its way out. Now Zeke Austin for 3. That's going to be no good. Oh, they're going to get a foul here on Milaca. And Wolbert doesn't like it.
They were both battling for position. You could really make an argument that the foul could go either way because they were both fighting for position. I think that what happens is the foul is going to go against Wolbert because of the fact that the Albany player came away with the ball.
Okay.
I'm guessing. That just because he really could have gone either way with the foul.
Yeah, I thought that one, I wasn't sure how they were going to call it, or maybe even a no call on that one would have been okay. Albany will have it, though, and they will get it inbounded here to Garretts for 2, a long 2. It's good. Excuse me.
He put his hands up, so I think it might be a 3.
Oh, he was definitely inside that black line. Huh. Well, that was Tyson Garretts. Either way, that's okay. At least I thought he was anyway. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong black line. As Lewis Wolbert has it back for the Wolves. Little floater towards the basket. That felt a little bit rushed, but Kyle Martin, big rebound there for the Milaca Wolves. They trail 15-7 here in the first half. It's going to, Griffin Bolt he double clutched on that one and missed by a long shot.
Especially from that distance, you got to commit to shooting it or don't, because if you double clutch, you're never going to get enough on it to be able to get there.
And a nice drive in by Sam Hondo, who puts it in for 2.
Right now, Milaca's just not getting in front of the ball. They're not stopping the basketball. They're kind of letting the lanes open up and letting the Huskies get to the rim.
As we dip closer to that halfway point here in the first half on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, Milaca trails by 10, 17-7, and that should be Milaca ball. They're going to get together and talk.
Yeah, Hunt can't believe that one. They're going to.
Yeah, I think that's the right call from what I've seen, because Hunt had it, and then it looked like the Albany defender almost knocked it out of his hands.
Yeah, it definitely got deflected the other direction. And I like the fact the officials got together and made sure that they had the right call.
Absolutely. Got to appreciate the referee. Maybe got away with one there on the almost backcourt violation, but Milaca will hold on to it. And oh my goodness, stolen away here by Albany. And we've got a whistle though somewhere. Apparently.
Yeah, there was a foul at midcourt during that scrum with that.
So they're going to call this one on Hunt.
I thought it was Griffin Bolt that was in the area of that one, so I don't know how that ended up on Hunt, but.
Interesting. So it's the 16th foul now for Milaca, and all of a sudden fouls becoming a problem here, not necessarily for one certain player, but just in the fact that they have 6, Albany only has 1.
Yeah, we still have just under 9 minutes to play in the first half, and Albany's about ready to shoot free throws on a 1-and-1.
And that Brace Orthodontic scoreboard, Milaca trails 17-7. Dr. Sievers is committed to providing world-class orthodontic care in a friendly and comfortable atmosphere. You can start today at embraceamen.com. Voss had it. He gives it off to Zeke Austin. Austin with it now, looks for the screen. Gets the screen, but the defender from Milaca gets around it. Did a nice job there of getting around that screen. So Albany still has it. They work with it on offense, trying to find something in a lane to drive inside. They send Beerbaum is the other Albany player that checked in, but Kyle Martin gets the rebound that time for the Wolves. And they have it, and they need to get something going here. I mean, even a 2 right now, they can just end the scoreless streak, and Jagger Ash for 3, almost. And Milaca didn't really go after that rebound. It almost looked like Albany was waiting for him to.
I think I mentioned that before, that like nobody's crashing the boards at all right now, not even Albany, because Milaca's not going after it, so Albany doesn't have to try to crash the boards. They don't have to go in after it. Milaca's just sacrificing that because they've always been so good at shooting throughout the course of the year. They haven't needed to do that.
Right, and they're going to have to figure that out on the fly. They now trail by 12 as Kyle Martin, no good, and it's rebounded by Garretts. And right now, I mean, they are frigid cold from anywhere. And Albany's just making any and everything. As that one was last made by Tyson Garretts, and all of a sudden it's a 21-7 lead here for the Albany Huskies. And you and I talked pregame about how Milaca cannot go cold, and right now they are.
They definitely went cold, and the last handful of possessions, it felt like they've rushed a couple of their shots. They know that they like to work quick. I know they like to be aggressive, but at the same time, you still have to make sure that whatever you're doing, quick or not, is still the right play, the right pass, the right shot. And right now, they're just trying to, all right, we need to hit some threes to get back in this game, when it's like, okay, you have the entire second half plus another 7+ minutes right now. Yes, you're down a little bit, but now is not the time to start panic shooting threes to try to get back into the game. Just get yourself some balance, get some center, try to be able to get a little bit of momentum, maybe get yourself an offensive rebound or something, and be able to start battling at the other end of the court.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that's what Milaca's talking about right now in their huddle. Just, hey, Albany's kind of allowing us to go get those rebounds, so let's start getting some for ourselves here and get some second chance opportunities, because second chance opportunities, there haven't been a lot that Albany's needed, but they probably do lead on that category, as Milaca hasn't scored any second chance points. As coming out of the timeout, Milaca will get to inbound here, and they'll bring it up the court for their offense. Going to be Braden Taylor. He'll hand it off to Peyton Hunt. Peyton Hunt gives it off to Martin. Martin, top of the key, looks to drive inside. Back out to Taylor. Taylor, he'll dribble to the top of the key, gives it off to Kyle
beautiful.
Martin. Drops it in for 2.
Sorry for stepping on your ball a little bit there, but that was just a beautiful play. It looked like Taylor was going to force the reverse layup, but he just spun one off on the weak side for an easy lay-in.
Yeah, that was a great shot, and a smart decision is, wow. I mean, Albany just can't miss right now. And it's not that they're getting easy shots. They're not getting these wide open shots. Milaca's doing an okay job of defense, but anything and everything Albany wants right now, they're getting to fall.
That is a beautiful spin move to be able to get yourself to the rim.
Oh, Trace Haas got his own rebound off the backboard to put it back in for 2.
He got a little dribble penetration and ended up with a triple team, so it's kind of an easy offensive board on the weak side because everybody was basically where he was at previously when he had his shot blocked.
And now back on the Albany front court. They have it, and it's oh my goodness, Tyson Garretts again. Again, it's they're guarding him pretty well, but anything and everything to reference something that you mentioned the other night when Milaca was playing Annandale, the rims right now were made in Albany. As Trace Haas drives to the basket, he puts it up and in for 2. So now at least Milaca's coming back and answering these points now, and they've gone and scored 6 here to Albany's 4 after that timeout.
And that's kind of what we talked a little bit during the timeout on our side, whether that was a conversation in the huddle over there, is, all right, let's get it to 0-0. Let's just get to where we can play the next handful of possessions back and forth.
As Tyson Garrett slams one down on a dunk, and that time it was wide open.
Just a massive lay. I probably would have been able to get to the rim and be able to lay that one in. Just wide open. Defense split apart, trying to be able to track a dish off. Garrett's an easy lay into the basket.
Kyle Martin tries to get the shot to fall, but it is no good and rebounded by the Huskies, and they'll bring it back the other way once again. They slow things down just a tad. Now we're going to get a whistle, and
that's going to be, I think the Milaca coaches, that's kind of what I was seeing as well. Garrett's is going to pick up a foul. He's going to draw a foul, I should say, and he's going to go to the line as the foul goes on Taylor. But it was more contact with Garrett's elbow and Taylor's face, reaching out a little bit. But you get a little bit of contact. Likely it's going to go against the defender unless they fall down. But that definitely could have went the other direction.
So Tyson Garrett's at the line for 1 and 1, excuse me. And he misses the first, so a rare miss there from Tyson Garrett. And it's rebounded by the Albany Huskies, the Milaca Wolves. And that pass, it went through Hunt's hands, but a little bit careless with that receiving of the pass. And Garrett goes inside, misses the shot, gets his own rebound, but it is stolen away here by the Wolves. So they kind of avoid disaster there. Hunt got the pass and maybe a tad careless with it, but it was stolen by the Huskies and then stolen right back by the Wolves. So they avoided the Huskies scoring off of a turnover. And the Huskies will get their second on Tanner Reese. Taylor will inbound here to Wolbert, and it is Albany ball.
And that one was a little bit of a lackadaisical on Wolbert's part. It was kind of a 50-50 ball that if you're not 100% sure, you need to try to reach out and grab that one. And I thought they just assumed that it was going to be theirs, even though it looked like it kind of went off of his hand more.
Right. So all the Huskies have it back. They lead by 14 here with 4:05 to go in the first half. If you're Milaca, I think you got to be okay with where you're at right now. Obviously, you want to be getting this one a lot closer, but this one could certainly be a lot larger of a lead for Albany. But Milaca, after that timeout, did a good job of getting 6 points back on the board, and now trail by 14 with 4:02 to go as that pass for Albany went out of bounds, and Milaca will get it back on another turnover. And Milaca right now, they got to feel like, okay, we're getting a few things to go our way, but we don't want things to go our way. We want to get the shots, and there's a big one from Kyle Martin.
And that was great ball rotation, a nice lob inside for Hunt. It wasn't there. He kicked it back out. Martin in rhythm for three. And again, it's not about scoring in bunches and trying to be able to get all of that. It's kind of like the old adage of how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. You're not going to just get after it. They were forcing shots. Just get to where you're playing 50-50 ball and then play a little defense.
And that time, Borgerding ran out of real estate once again. And if you're Milaca, that's been the second or third time that Albany has kind of ran out of real estate on a pass. So if you're Milaca, you want to be forcing that a little bit more as Lewis Wolbert puts up a shot that falls through. And all of a sudden, it's now down to a 9-point lead for Albany. And Milaca has done a good job, like you said, just coming back one possession at a time and chipping away at the Albany lead.
So many times teams want to try to score in bunches, and that was what Milaca did. They were trying to, like I said before, trying to hit threes, trying to be able to get that extra point. We're going to knock down some stuff, and we're going to get back into this game. Really, at that point in time, it was a great timeout and a great discussion by the Milaca coaching staff where you take that timeout, you're like, all right, 0-0, just a reset right now. 0-0, let's win the next 2 minutes. Even if it's by 1 point, let's just win the next 2 minutes. Let's not force it, be patient, run what we can, do what we do, and we're going to start chipping into that lead a little bit. They started doing that. Then they started playing a little bit of defense, and then they started getting a few turnovers. Albany's thrown the ball away a couple of times on some nice defensive plays at the other end, and Albany trying to force the ball inside for Borgerding. And if you can start doing that, that's where things start working a little bit, and your patience is going to turn out on the other side when you have some patient shots that you're not rushing. Even though they weren't falling, patience will let them fall.
Absolutely, as Albany takes the most recent timeout. With just under 3 minutes to go, the shot is no good. Borgerding going to get the rebound here for Albany. As it's Hondel who will give it off now to Garretts. Tyson Garretts guarded well by Wolbert. He'll now give it off to Austin, Zeke Austin. He looks, tries to get a screen from Borgerding, and they do a good job of getting around that screen, but now they get it off here for 3, and we get a push call here on Albany. That's going to be on Borgerding.
Again, Trace Haas and Borgerding battling inside, going back and forth, trying to be able to get position on a rebound. And Haas did a good job. That was something I was talking about. Haas is one of those guys that identified whether he is going to show up in the stats as the guy. You mentioned Wolbert. I kind of mentioned Haas. They're going to need him to be able to do those things. Even if he doesn't get the rebound, he needs to take Borgerding out of the ball game as far as being able to get it. Box him out, push him off the court, and let somebody else get it.
Trace Haas to the basket. Ooh.
And then do some of that.
Yes, absolutely. That one almost fell off the rim, but it falls through the net to make it 27-20. So now the Wolves back within 7. They're back within those single digits, and that's got to feel good. That's got to give them a lot of confidence now in the last 2 minutes and 5 seconds of this first half. Tyson Garretts, wow. I mean, just such touch on that ball as he gets it to fall through. It's 29-20. As the Wolves have it back in their front court, Wolbert gives it off to Trace Haas. Trace Haas dribbles. He shoots from the free throw line, and that was one of those where it kind of felt rushed a little bit.
And Milaca's been a little bit prone to doing that because there's a very fine line between aggressive nature and rushing something.
Absolutely is. Now Albany has it back. They'll look, and Rondo as Wolbert gets the steal. Oh my goodness, nice job by Wolbert. I don't know what kind of acrobatic move that was, what you want to call it, a flying flamingo, I don't even know. That was ridiculous.
Milaca Wolves fans looking for a call on that one.
Oh, that should have been a call.
There too.
Zeke Austin gets away with the push-off as Kyle Martin gets the rebound. That's a stiff arm in basketball right there. I mean, I know Derrick Henry gets those, but man, I didn't think you would be able to get those in basketball. As a little bit of a shot there from Wolbert is missed. Reese gets the rebound for the Albany Huskies. It'll be Tyson Garretts with it. He works. He looks to drive inside. With that touch, gets it to fall through.
Garretts has such a soft touch around the rim. Gets the ball nice and high, kind of a teardrop. You get a better angle. Rim ends up getting a lot bigger when you put it high like that.
Absolutely, as Wolbert has it now on the offensive side for the Wolves. Haas looks to go inside to Martin. Martin was left alone. It's going to be poked out of his hands, but he's fouled. And it's going to be an inbound here for the Wolves, and he got hit pretty hard. He's kind of holding on to that arm a little bit.
Garretts reached out and tried to slap that ball away and mostly got his wrist and kind of pulled his shoulder down a little bit. If he doesn't do that, likely Martin throws that one down. Yeah. And so he kind of almost had to take that foul or at least take that chance at being able to knock the ball away.
So Milaca will get set to inbound here as Braden Taylor, he gets it inbounded to Kyle Martin on the far side. Excuse me, that's Peyton Hunt. Peyton Hunt, he'll work with it. He'll give it off now to Trace Haas. Haas gets around one screen, looks to drive inside, and little bit of a maybe rush shot that time. He felt a little anxious. He felt he was near the basket, wanted to get a shot off, but unfortunately it is well off the mark, and now the Albany Huskies have it back. It's Zeke Austin with it. With 10 seconds to go, they'll probably look for that last second shot. 31-22, Albany leads. Gets a screen. Zeke Austin, he'll look to drive inside. He puts up a shot. It's going to fall through for 2. And not going to fall close enough for Milaca on the last second shot. So we're at halftime here at Hollenbeck Hall on the campus of St. Cloud State. And the Milaca Wolves trail the Albany Huskies here at halftime 33-22. We'll take a commercial break and we'll hear a word from our fine sponsors. When we come back, we'll recap that first half and we'll also give you our keys to the second half for Milaca and what they can do to try and get the victory here tonight and punch their ticket to the state tournament. You're listening to Section 6AA Boys Basketball Championship here on 95.5 FM KBEK.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings. With expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas, when you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
This is Paul Jackson, broker-owner of Hewitt Jackson Real Estate in Milaca, located across from Casey's General Store. We have been serving the local community for the past 17 years and would like to wish the Wolves a great experience in playoffs. Come visit our website at www.hewittjacksonrealestate to view not only our listings, but all the listings across the state of Minnesota. And again, go Wolves!
Hey there, this is Destiny at United Country Preferred Real Estate in Milaca. Nobody knows the country like we do. We truly are your local experts in the market. We specialize in lifestyle properties specially for you and have been since 1940. So whatever you're looking for, we can find it for you. Visit us online at ucmilaca.com. United Country Preferred Real Estate in Milaca is a proud sponsor for the Wolves for all Milaca High School sports. Go Wolves!
Minnesota Equipment reminds you that National Ag Week is March 21st through the 27th. Each American farmer feeds about 165 people, and agriculture is America's #1 export. That's really what Ag Week is all about, recognizing the role of agriculture and celebrating it. Minnesota Equipment celebrates local farmers and asks you to do the same. Highway 65 in Isanti or at minnesotaequipment.com.
Kettle River Pizza, the handcrafted pizza made locally in Ascove, Minnesota. Always the highest quality ingredients. Pizza that is consistently great tasting. A true crowd pleaser. 16 varieties to choose from. Enjoy the classics like pepperoni, pepperoni sausage and supreme, to the unique tastes of hot Hawaiian, taco, buffalo chicken, and chicken Alfredo. Pick some up at your local grocer, tavern, or convenience store. Handcrafted Kettle River Pizza. Moms and basketball players approved.
This high school sports season, Wellia Health wants to remind you that they want to help your athletes stay in the game. Sports medicine services are available at every Wellia Health campus. Whether it's the young athlete, the weekend warrior, or the accomplished athlete, injuries can happen. Get back in the game by calling the sports medicine experts at Wellia Health, 320-679-1313. Wellia Health. Live life well.
Keep your home or business comfortable this winter by getting a furnace tune-up from Dale's Heating and Appliance. A tune-up from Dale's will keep your furnace running at peak efficiency so you can stay warm all winter. And Dale's offers financing on new heating systems as well. Your hometown heating expert is Dale's Heating and Appliance. Avoid costly repairs and call Dale's Heating and Appliance at 320-629-3531 or find them online at dalesheatingandappliance.com. dalesheatingandappliance.com.
Did you know that Franzen Bank and Trust is a Minnesota-owned company? And they're one of the largest community banks around. That's a great combination. As a community bank, they're dedicated to their customers and the communities they serve. You might say they're big enough to help, small enough to care. Last March, they provided $20,000 in grants to 6 different Minnesota communities. They also processed well over 1,700 PPP loans, allowing local small businesses to keep their employees on the payroll during the pandemic. Franzen Bank and Trust. Real people, real results. Member FDIC.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a 4-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTCC offers more than 50 degrees in hot fields like healthcare information technology, advanced manufacturing, and business. PTCC is now accepting applications. Financial aid may be available online at pine.edu. Starting out or starting over, find your future at Pine Technical and Community College.
Back here on 95.5 FM KBEK. The Milaca Wolves and Albany Huskies doing battle here in this Section 6 AA championship game. And we're at halftime where the Milaca Wolves trail by 11 to the Huskies. And it was a decent first half for Milaca, albeit that little cold stretch there. This has actually been a pretty decent first half for the Wolves.
Yeah, you could almost, in a way, say it was in the half, you could say it was a tale of two halves of the half.
Yeah.
They started out pretty good in the outset, in the initial part of the game. Didn't get a couple of shots to fall, ended up down a little bit. But it was more the middle portion of the half that they started getting a little bit rattled. They started giving up some points. They ended up with a handful of turnovers. The ball just didn't go their way. And then they started forcing things on offense a little bit. We mentioned it up here a couple of times. there was probably 2 or 3 possessions that they seemed to force a couple of shots, didn't get them to fall when you're forcing it too much, and things really started to flow the other direction for Albany, and all of a sudden they were up by nearly 20 points. Great timeout taken by Coach Caleb Anderson. I would assume in the huddle he said, all right, let's just settle down just a little bit, have a little patience, get kind of back to what Wolves basketball is. Forget about what the score is right now. We're not going to try to shoot our way back into this game. Let's just say it's 0-0, win the next 2 minutes, and then win the next 2 minutes after that. Just little things like that. You break it down a little bit, it becomes a lot less overwhelming. You're allowed to be able to have a little bit more patience. At the time, there was about 8 minutes left to go in the first half. That's 26 minutes worth of basketball yet to be played.
Yeah.
That's a ton of basketball if you don't get rattled. And sure enough, it worked. They came out, they were able to get a couple of shots. They played 0-0 basketball for probably the next 3 minutes. Then they started getting a couple of things to fall their way. They got a couple of turnovers. They got a couple of threes. Started knocking some down. Things were working in their favor a little bit. They were able to cut it down to 7. Albany scored a couple of points towards the end. It made it to 11. But at the same time, after that timeout, Milaca forced Albany to take a timeout on the other side. A lot of times you see a team will kind of fold up shop and we can't run with these guys. We can't handle it. Milaca, we talked during the pregame that they're not afraid of them.
Right.
Once they were able to settle them down a little bit, they got right after it, and they basically put Albany back on their heels and forced them into a timeout. Credit them for coming back out again and being able to get the last couple of points to try to get some of the momentum back. But I think if you're Milaca in the halftime break, that's got to be what the discussion is. Like, hey, we could definitely play with these guys. We have no problem with these guys. We came back and were able to outscore them by 7 in about 5 minutes.
Right.
You're down 11. We have a whole half to work with. Just don't get rattled. Don't get out of yourself. Be patient. Get aggressive. Get after it. But, at the same time, you don't need to force things. You don't need to go above and beyond to be able to try to get, 3 after 3 after 3 to be able to make this 11 points disappear. You have 18 minutes to work with. If you get 1 point back per minute, it doesn't get you all the way there.
Right.
Really it does. You still have 7 minutes left at that point in time. So you got lots of time to be able to work with. You don't need to get 1 point back per minute just trading possessions. Just make sure you're playing sound basketball. Play Milaca Wolves basketball. Being aggressive, getting after the basketball, but taking the right shots.
Absolutely, and as we take a quick look at our stat leaders here for the Albany Huskies, leading the way was Tyson Garrett with 15, 7 for Zeke Austin, 5 for Sam Hondel, and 4 for Ethan Borgerding. Leading the way rebound-wise was Hondel and Borgerding, each with 5, 4 for Zeke Austin and Tyson Garrett. They had 2 steals in that first half and 14 fouls. For the Milaca Wolves, leading the way was Trace Anderson with 9, or Trace Haas, not Anderson, Trace Haas with 9. Then Lewis Wolbert with 6, Kyle Martin with 5, and Peyton Hunt with 2. They also had 2 steals. They managed to have a block in that one, plus 7 team fouls. They did a really good job, too. One thing that I noticed is they got those 7 early on. I think they had about 6 at that 8-minute mark, and they did a really good job of only getting 1 in those last 8 minutes. So for Milaca, yeah, they had those. It was a little bit sketchy there. It looked like they were going to send Albany to the line for a 1-on-1 at that 8-minute mark, but they wound up doing a good job. They got back on defense and managed to get a couple of turnovers and some rebounds, and now they'll get to get back out here in the second half and try and win the half for the Milaca Wolves and try and get out of here with a victory and their ticket to the state tournament. I know we talked a little bit about the keys to the second half here. Starting this second half, what does Milaca need to do to make sure that they not only start the half well, but also come out of here with the win?
Well, I think that it really starts with solid defense at the one end of the court. Obviously their offense is going to be what it's going to be. They're going to hit some shots. They're going to miss some shots. The 2 things that they're going to need to be able to do is just play sound defense. Albany's going to score. It's going to happen. It's an inevitability. But at the same time, you can't allow a wide open lane to a Garrett's to be able to throw the ball down. You can't allow easy cuts to the lane like that. If you're able to cut off the basketball, force them to maybe shoot some perimeter jump shots. Whether they hit the threes or not is kind of up to them. Just play good defense. It doesn't have to be lockdown, shutdown defense and hold them to 15 points and a half. Just control what you can and then rebound it. We talked a little bit about that during the half. Milaca hasn't crashed the boards with it at all. They've kind of shot it, and if somebody's in the lane, maybe they kind of like, well, maybe it'll come to me, but they're not crashing after it. Maybe being a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end, try to be able to get a little bit, because Albany's not even going after it really all that hard either.
No, they're really not, Albany. It's almost like they're wanting Milaca to get those rebounds and second chance opportunities. But Albany will start with the ball here in the second half, and Wolbert, he says, all right, let's get things going our way right away. He gets a nice steal there to start the second half. Milaca will be going left to right on your radio dial in the second half. Albany right to left. Peyton Hunt gives it inside to Haas, bumping the body a little bit. That's going to be a little bit too long, and Borgerding going to grab the rebound there for the Huskies. 33-22 is the Husky lead. And they'll just hand it off between teammates, and stopping on that one is Hondel. He'll look to go inside to Borgerding. It's going to go out of bounds, last touched by Haas, but he did a good job of getting his hand in the lane and knocking it away.
So I was just going to say it was a great job. He was trying to come around the front to try to be able to take away that passing lane, and did a great job not just giving up on it and getting back on defense. He's like, I can still get there, touch it, knock it out of bounds, reset your defense.
Zeke Austin with it. He gives it up top of the key. Tyson Garrett's. Wow. First of all, he got up on that jump shot, and then his shot went through for three.
When it's a jump shot, it's a jump shot. It doesn't matter where it's at, it's a jump shot.
Wow, that was impressive. As now
he's already got about 4 inches on Wolbert.
Right.
So
the Wolves have it back on offense. Kyle Martin has it. He gives it off to Wolbert. Wolbert, he looks to drive inside, pulls up from the free throw line, can't get it to fall. But Braden Taylor, he'll bounce this ball out to Kyle Martin for the rebound. A three from Wolbert's no good, and getting the rebound that time is Tanner Reese for the Huskies.
Maybe a little rush on the second shot, but I like the fact that Milaca did go after that rebound a little bit more.
Fakes the three, gives it off to Tanner Reese, rattles home.
I said they were going to have to play some defense and force some perimeter shots. Albany making me eat my words a little bit by knocking down some perimeter shots, but the Wolves are doing a pretty good job on defense right now.
They are, as Braden Taylor can't get that one to fall, and Tanner Reese will get the rebound. And again, Milaca's still not crashing the boards here on offense, and Albany's leaving a bunch of pockets open for them to be able to do that. As on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, we have 16 minutes left here in the second half, and before I can even go to the Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, Sam Hondel will put up a shot to make it 41-22. Embrace Orthodontics, your customized smile journey starts with a free consultation. The team at Embrace Orthodontics wants to make your journey as seamless and convenient as possible with custom braces or Invisalign. EmbraceMN.com. Kyle Martin with it on the near side now for the Milaca Wolves, trailing 41-22. Under 16 minutes to go. Lewis Wolbert takes a second to wipe his shoe and then has it poked out by Zeke Austin. It's stolen away. Austin has it poked out by Wolbert. Wolbert coming back saying, okay, you got me once.
Great hustle by Wolbert to be able to get back on defense and be able to knock that ball away. If nothing else, it's still going to remain there, but you get a chance to reset your defense.
Absolutely, as this ball gets inbounded here to Tyson Garrett, but knocked out of bounds again, Lewis Wolbert. So Milaca again playing some tough defense. They're playing very good defense. And I mean, it's not like you mentioned it. They're playing good defense. They're not giving Albany just open shots to shoot. They're guarding them tight, but Albany's just getting everything they want to fall right now, and
it's going to be kind of a touch foul a little bit there on Peyton Hunt. He tried to reach in and knock the ball away. Ball did get knocked away, but going to get a little bit of arm contact on the foul.
So we'll be there first and Hunt's second, as Albany will inbound. And Zeke Austin with it. He drives. Step back shot, no good. And Trace Haas will get the rebound. Brings it quickly up the court. Defense gets back, though, for Albany. As, he tried to give it off inside to Haas and stolen away by Borgerding.
That was a beautiful play there by Borgerding, but otherwise that would have been a really nice dunk on Haas.
But Haas comes back the other way and blocks it on the shot attempt from Borgerding. And, oh my goodness, how in the world? Wow. So, Tyson Garrett gets the two. I think we got to give credit to Zeke Austin for a rear end steal.
That is amazing hands by Austin to be able to just get a touch on that one, and then just the ball stuck to his hand.
It really did, as Kyle Martin rushed that one just a little bit, rebounded there by Tyson Garrett. It's almost like the Marshawn Lattimore interception on the rear end back a couple of years ago when he picked it off and clung it to his backside. As that shot from Zeke Austin, no good. Kyle Martin will get the rebound. So, not the first half start that the Wolves wanted. Again, not playing bad defense, as Wolbert going to draw the foul. Not playing bad defense, but right now Albany getting everything they want to fall, and Milaca just can't get anything to fall.
Yeah, right now for Albany, the rim is about 14 feet wide. and everything they're throwing at the basket is falling. And they're a good shooting team, so it's hard to be able to knock too much on that. We talked before about that Milaca was the #1 scoring team in the section, Albany #2. Both of these teams can fill it up, and right now Albany's the one that's doing it.
Bryce Merworth will check in for the Milaca Wolves. It's Lewis Wolbert who handles it, though. He'll give it off. And now Merworth, that's going to come up short. Kyle Martin does a great job of realizing it's going to come up short. He can't grab the rebound. The rebound's still up for grabs. Rolling on the floor, it's going to be Tanner Reese who's going to come up with it. And it seems to it's when it rains, it pours for Milaca right now. As Albany has it in their front court, Garrett gives it off to Reese. 43-22 on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard with under 14 minutes to go. Inside here for Hondel. His shot's up and good.
Good defense there, about as good as you can expect there by Griffin Bolt, but just a better shot by Albany to be able to get that over the top, set himself, and be able to just square up to the basket.
45-22, a timeout called here by the Milaca Wolves. While we have a timeout, we want to thank our fine sponsors. Of course, that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard shows the Milaca Wolves trailing 45-22. Embrace Orthodontics, they'll do all the insurance heavy lifting for you, and if you don't have insurance, ask about financing options. You'll find a plan to fit your budget at embracemn.com. So the Wolves trail here in this second half, 45-22. Again, they've played some pretty good defense. And they just, on the offensive side of things, they just can't get anything to fall. It's seemingly just, the basket's just has something against them, I guess.
Yeah, you're rushing a little bit, not a ton, but just a little bit. And Albany they're getting out quick and getting up the court, and that's created a couple of fast break opportunities, but more so it's putting pressure on Milaca to try to get down the court quickly. And even if they do get back on defense, it's forcing them to be a little rattled once they get their defense set. It doesn't really get a chance to get into that set.
So the Wolves will have it on offense coming out of the timeout. It's Kyle Martin who gives it off to Peyton Hunt. And Hunt, I think, noticed that lane open up a little bit late, and then he gets called for the charge. And I think if he maybe ducked his shoulder down as much, they may have let that one go, but gonna be
he kind of leaned into him a little bit. It is, I think that what the Milaca fans are looking at is the fact that Zeke Austin has had a couple of face checks and push-offs.
And there they get him for it.
Yep, then that was what Milaca's been looking for quite a while, and finally they actually get that call.
So finally they get one on Zeke Austin. And Zeke Austin, he's got away with a couple of those here this evening, but Milaca finally gets him caught on one of them, as almost losing the ball there was Merworth, but he gives it off to Martin to Wolbert. Wolbert shot up, no good. Austin comes down with the rebound, and nearly stolen away by Wolbert. He will not give up on the play. He's trying to get it back for his offense quickly. That ball is going to be lost. Looks like we're going to get are they going to call a foul? They will.
Hunt was able to reach and knock that ball away and kind of had a handle on it. And then Austin just reached out there. Correction, that was going to be, instead, Sam Hondo just reached out to try to kind of prevent him, more of trying to box him out in a way to prevent him from getting there, and ended up just grabbing his arm.
So the Wolves get it back. Wolbert tries to drive inside, pass it off to Martin. Martin, he had the lane inside, lost the ball, gets it back, and he gives it off to Hunt. Top of the key for Griffin Bolt, no good, and the rebound there by Hondel, and we're going to get a jump ball, but it looks like we got an injured Husky. Hopefully he's all right. That's Tyson Garrett's. Possession arrow favors the Milaca Wolves. Tyson Garrett's going to have to check out. Oh, nope, they're going to keep him in. Thought he was going to check out. He's going to tough it out, though, Will Tyson Garrett's.
I think he's just trying to maybe kind of walk it off in a way. Like there's some bodies on the floor, some slippery stuff. I'm going to use this opportunity to go talk to my coach, walk it off a little bit, try to be able to stretch out whatever it is that he's got going on.
Oh, he's battling out there. And on this end of the court, both of these teams have battled. We've seen bodies flying on this end of the court a lot here in the second half, especially as Peyton Hunt. We're going to get a foul call here on the Huskies. And that one will go against, did they call Tyson Garrett?
Yeah,
they did.
Garrett will get his second. Again, really no foul trouble at all. For Milaca, Peyton Hunt does have 3, but with 12 and a half to play, it's not really a concern just yet.
Wolbert has it. He looks to drive inside. Nice drive inside, just a little bit off, but he grabs his own rebound, backs it outside to Haas, now to Hunt for 3. Oh, my goodness. I mean, there's just, they can't get anything to fall right now. That one, again, was halfway down, and it decided to pop out.
And that type of ball rotation, the gods of basketball have to get you that shot. Doesn't matter who, it could be me shooting that ball. You have to allow that ball to go down. But at the same time, he missed that shot. But I talked before that they're going to need Haas or somebody to be able to crash the boards, and Haas did that on that missed shot. He was inside battling, got the rebound, and when he tried to go up, he forced a foul that I thought was on Borgerding, but I think it's actually on.
I think they called it on Hondel.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
Hunt or that or Imholt.
Haas only gets 1 of 2 to fall that time. It's rebounded by the Huskies. So for a good stretch of time, though, Milaca had possession of the ball, and they got to be pleased with that, as now the Huskies will try and work with it. They'll certainly try and drain some clock with 12 minutes to go. Now just ducking under 12 minutes. Borgerding, and that's
a great seal by Borgerding. Haas has done a really good job defensively on him tonight, but that's just a really good seal.
That was a good play there by the Huskies, as now it's 47-23. Milaca back with it. Martin now to Wolbert. Wolbert has it, trying to get around the defense, and loses the ball. Still up for grabs. It's grabbed back by Merworth for the Wolves. Trace Haas now gives it off to Wolbert. Wolbert to Hunt. Peyton Hunt gives it to Trace Haas. A long 3, no good. There's nothing but net, to be fair, but it goes out of bounds off of Wolbert. And it will go back to the Huskies.
Milaca just trying to battle right now. That one wasn't a forced shot. It was a good in-rhythm shot, an aggressive shot. But Milaca just not able to get anything to fall right now.
And a little bit of an ill-advised inbound pass, as now Peyton Hunt will put it up and in for 2. Trace Haas got the steal. A rare mistake by Albany here this evening, and that went right to the Milaca Wolf, who grabbed it, and Haas got the steal. Hunt put it up and in for 2, and
Milaca decided they were going to put on a little full court press, and then for whatever reason, Hondel got to the timeline, stepped across midcourt, and then picked up his dribble in the corner. Like when he did that, I was like, what are you doing? Immediately a double team and a quick timeout by Albany.
So they will take the timeout, and they'll be left with 3 here in the remainder of this game as we take a look at that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. 11:08 to go here in the game. 47-25. The Albany Huskies with the lead over the Milaca Wolves. Embrace Orthodontics, custom braces or Invisalign with 3 locations in Pine City, Lynchburg, and Cambridge. Dr. Severs is also committed to providing world-class orthodontic care in a friendly and comfortable atmosphere. Start today at embracemn.com. That's EMBRACEMN.com. Huskies with the lead of 22 right now. It's been a battle here in this one. We talked about the physicality earlier. It is really showing up here in the second half. We've got bodies flying everywhere at some points in time, but both teams doing a good job of not leading those to more fouls. I mean, honestly, we've seen some games where those could have been more fouls, as right off the timeout, Andrew Olson steps up and drops it in for 2.
Yeah, Milaca a little sloppy on defense on that one, maybe trying to press on the inbound a little bit too much, allowed kind of an open lane for him to be able to get to the baseline.
Wolbert with it. He gets a screen from Haas, and it was poked out, and it's going to be stolen away by Hondel. And now going the other way is Tyson Garrett for a slam dunk.
Garrett has been able to get out in front of everybody. He not only has huge hop, but he is so quick and able to get up the court past everybody and just keeps that ball in front of him.
Did a good job that time, and that's not been the first time the net has not come down here this evening. It has been way too many times that has come off or has just not come down, as we get the shot made there by Lewis Wolbert. He hits the 3 to make it 51-28. Garrett falls to his knees.
Somehow Garrett was able to get a little bit of a dribble with that when he went to his knees.
Huskies have it back on offense after the quick 3 from Wolbert, and Nice quick shot there by the Wolves that they needed, but now the Huskies have it back. Borgerding, he gives it off to Andrew Olson, and now to Borgerding. 10:01 to go, and get a whistle here, and I believe that one's on the Wolves. It is, and it will be the second for Lewis Wolbert. Team's third.
Again, really no foul trouble to speak of. A bunch of players with 2 and just the one player Hunt with 3, but now that we're under 10 minutes to go, you have no foul concerns right now.
9:50 to go here in the game. Huskies being patient on offense now, slowing things down a little bit. They'll try to go inside to Borgerding, but they're going to say he was held by Trace Haas. And that'll be a foul on Milaca, their team's 4th.
Those two have battled on the block all night long, and Borgerding, a very, very good post player at 6'5", a senior, plays very well underneath, uses his body well, positions himself really well, but just a tough matchup for Haas, and he's done a very good job on him so far tonight. Held him to just 6 points in the ball game, but just been too much, especially on the rebounding edge.
Albany will get set to inbound. They do. They get it off to Hondel. Hondel, it's around 1. They gives it off to Austin. Austin, he'll get it around the screen, but guarded well by the Wolves defense. Now to Hondel. Now to Andrew Olson. He looks, can't find anything. Gives it back to Austin. 51-28, under 9.5 to go. Austin inside to Borgerding, and it's up and in for 2.
I don't know how we got lost in the shuffle there as they were rotating around, but an easy lay-in for Borgerding.
And then I did not see what happened down in the front court of the Milaca Wolves, but I think we're going to get a whistle here on Albany.
Haas went aggressive to the basket, and they tried to go from behind to be able to block that one, but Hondel was a little bit late in getting there, went for the ball and got the arm.
So Haas at the line to shoot 2. And he gets the kind roll on that one as it bounces off the front of the rim and rolls through to make it 53-29. He'll get set up for his second one. We did get a substitution there for Albany real quick. As Haas, second one is through as well to make it 53-30. Huskies back with it. They quickly get up to the front court, and oh boy, he missed. And he's going to be fouled.
Milaca was trying to press in the front court. They were trying to get that full court press on, and you ended up with an opportunity for Garretts to get aggressive going after the basket.
He did. He missed the slam dunk, but he was fouled, and
Martin was not afraid of trying to get a little physical to knock that ball away.
No, was not afraid on that one as Garretts drops it through. On the first one, it is the first foul on Kyle Martin and the team's 5th. And it's 54 to 30 now in favor of the Huskies. With 9:08 to go in the game. Garrett's a rare miss. He made one, but missed the last one of the free throws. And now back the other way for the Wolves. On the far side for Peyton Hunt, and he drops in a 3 to make it 54-33. Big shot there by the Wolves as now Andrew Olson brings it up the court for Albany. Gives it off to Reese, now to Austin. Zeke Austin with it. Brings it back to the top of the key. He stops, goes inside to Garretts, and that one's going to be poked and stolen away here by Lewis Wolbert.
Don't know if it was deflected initially, but not a very good pass right to the defender, essentially.
Trace Haas, a good shot there, but just not enough on it, and rebounded by Austin. He'll have it, and he'll kind of circle around looking. He'll give it off to Garretts there, and Garretts, he pulls up a long 2. It's off the mark. Borgerding, he grabs the rebound. Back out to Austin, now to Reese, inside to Garretts, to Borgerding. Shot no good, and rebounded by Wolbert.
I think that might have been reflected a little bit by Wolbert, and I think they list him at 6 foot and 6'5", but I don't know that Wolbert is only a 5-inch difference in Borgerding.
Going to get a whistle here on the Albany Huskies. That's going to be their team's 7th in the third on Zeke Austin, so all of a sudden now Milaca's going to go to line and shoot a 1-and-1 from here on out until they get to 10 with 8 minutes to go, 8:02.
And this is something that might favor Milaca a little bit. They can continue being aggressive because if they pick up fouls, that's going to be potentially points that they can score without the clock running.
Absolutely, as Wolbert at the line for a 1-and-1. He drops in the first one to make it 54-34. Five team fouls here for Milaca. Wolbert drops them both through to make it 54-35. He adds 2 more points to his total. That pass a little bit off the mark, and Lewis Wolbert going to come up with the steal. He's got 4 of them. Peyton Hunt lines up for 3. It's going to be just off the mark, and Trace Haas had the rebound, but just could not corral it, and it will go out of bounds back to Albany.
Haas skied for that one, but just couldn't quite control it. It was affected a little bit by the defender, but at the same time, he got way up there. Just couldn't quite come down with it cleanly.
So full court pressure now put on by the Milaca Wolves. Albany doing an okay job getting around it, and they'll get up the court just inside that 10-second mark. Passing the ball around well as they'll drive to the basket. Well, Garrett's, and he drops it through.
Such a quick first step, and he's able to get right to the rim. Milaca hasn't had much of an answer for him tonight as he's got 25 points.
Yeah, he's been very good for Albany. It's been you mentioned that first step. He gets around you, and it's good night because, I mean, he is just so fast. Lewis Wolbert, darn near an NBA 3, hits it to make it 56-38.
Wolbert on the other side with 15 points to this point. Who's more dangerous on the court right now, Wolbert or Garrett?
I might give Wolbert the edge there just because his team is trailing, and sometimes when you're trailing, you can get on a little bit of a run for yourself, and sometimes that can carry the team. It looks like we did get a foul there and a timeout. Lewis Wolbert will get his 3rd foul here of the evening, and the team's at 6th. We got a timeout called here. I'm not sure who. I think it was Albany who grabbed that timeout. Yes, it is. They'll be left with 2. On that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, the Huskies lead 56-38 over the Milaca Wolves. Embrace Orthodontics helping you find a smile you'll embrace forever. Find out more at embracemn.com. 7:01 to go here in the game. The Albany Huskies lead 56-38 over your Milaca Wolves. But it has been a good second half. It got off to kind of a bad start for the Milaca Wolves. Kind of the worst start that they could have hoped for. But then as the half has gone along, they really have gotten things back on track. And after that awful start, they've really almost seemingly kind of won this half. Obviously, they're down on the scoreboard, but after that bad start, they were down by 20. These last 5 minutes or so, they've kind of been the team with a little bit of the advantage.
They've definitely got a little momentum on their side. They need to try to keep that on their side. I like what they're doing with the press and trying to get back on defense, but they are forcing Albany into a handful of turnovers, and they're going to need more of that coming down the stretch here. It's still an 18-point ball game, but 7 minutes to go. You still got a little bit of time. You got to start pushing a little bit, but that's what they're doing on defense, which I really like to see.
And not only that, again, they're getting a couple more of their shots to fall are Milaca. Lewis Wolbert showing it, Haas showing it. So they're starting to get a little bit of a rhythm on offense too, and I think that momentum is a big key, but so is rhythm, I think. Rhythm on offense, especially when you are able to hit the shots is, I
don't know where the foul was on that one. It was just an anticipated foul, but I think Merworth's going to pick it up, but I didn't look like he really was leaning on him or had much contact there, but it's not been one that they've called all night. I guess I'll put it that way.
So Austin at the line for a 1-and-1. He makes it. Yeah, I've got to respectfully disagree with the referees on that one. I don't think that is a foul, but it's called either way. 57-38 after the Austin made free throw. He misses the second one.
That was what I talked about right there. You've seen Haas take Borgerding out of the play and allows a fast break going the other direction. Haas did not get the rebound, but more importantly, Borgerding didn't either.
Absolutely, as a 2 there from Braden Taylor. That's a big 2 points for the Milaca Wolves. That makes it 57-40. Albany has it the other way. Of course, they'll look to be a little bit more patient on offense, but they still won't mind attacking the net as there goes Garrett's. Ooh. Bit of a tiki-tack call there.
There's been a few more of those. We'll give the officials credit. They've been pretty good tonight, not with some of the push-offs notwithstanding, but they've been pretty solid tonight. But I feel like things have changed a little bit more to try to eliminate some of the physical play.
Yeah, as now Garrett's at the line for a 1-and-1, and he doesn't get the shot to fall. Peyton Hunt grabs the rebound. That's a big miss there for the Huskies, but Milaca can now maybe get a little bit of momentum going back their way. Wolbert a long three, and that one's off the mark. I like the shot selection is what I meant to say, but just a little bit off the mark. As now Austin has it back for the Huskies. Garrett's passes it back out here to Reese, and that's good. And was that a three? It was, and that'll make it 60-40 in favor of the Huskies.
And it's just good ball rotation by the Huskies. They put pressure on all night long. They force you to collapse on the ball, and then they kick it back out to the corner for some open threes.
Wolbert with it, standing top of the key at the St. Cloud State logo. Calls out a play for the offense. He drifts to the far side, gets a screen from Hunt. He'll pull up a little floater that drops in for two. And Wolbert does that so well. It's hard to stop when he gets going. And that's,
It looked like Taylor was in front of him, but the block is what's called, and that one, there was definitely a lot of contact. There was going to be a call one way or the other, but you can kind of hear the reaction. They're not howling like wolves. It's that's not where they're going with that.
No, as Hondo will make the first one. Yeah, that one, a little bit iffy on that one too.
Credit Hondo, though, for being able to settle down and just knock down the free throw and take advantage of the situation on his side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough, especially when you got all the Milaca fans screaming at your back, as now the Wolves have it back on offense. Wolbert, a step back three, a little bit off the mark, and up for grab. Albany didn't even go after it. They went after it at first, but then just kind of let it roll as Trace Haas will take it to the basket and lays it up and in for two.
That's what I was talking about. Albany's not going after it. Milaca needs to be more aggressive going after offensive rebounds.
Albany bringing it up the court. Zeke Austin gives it off the court. Girding now to Tyson Garrett. Now out to Reese for three. That's good. He's hit three of them in this half to make it 65-44.
Again, it's just aggressive play by Albany, forcing you to collapse, forcing you to chase the ball, kick it out, hit an open three. And that's something they're hitting the ocean from the beach right now. Everything they're shooting is falling. If you're not hitting those shots, then it looks like really good defense.
And Peyton Hunt, no good on that shot, and rebounded by Hondel. He'll give it off to Reese. Milaca wants a travel call, and maybe a little bit of a missed one. He might have gotten away with an extra step, as it's going to be Austin who brings it to the basket. No good, and he was fouled. He'll go to line to shoot two.
Right now sits at a 21-point ball game with 4:18 to play. Milaca's we're kind of getting to that area of the ball game where Milaca's going to have to get a little bit more aggressive. And this is where you start that fine line that I was talking about before about being aggressive and rushing shots. That line starts to kind of trend not in the way you want it to,
right? Because
you kind of have to push that line a little further.
This timeout is called by the Milaca Wolves. They trail 65-44 on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. Embrace Orthodontics, your customized smile journey starts with a free consultation. The team at Embrace Orthodontics wants to make your journey as seamless and convenient as possible with custom braces or Invisalign. You can find out more at their website, embracemn.com. 4:18 to go on that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard. 65-44 is the lead here for Albany. And yeah, the pace going to have to start being picked up here for the Milaca Wolves, although they've done a good job with the pace so far, but going to have to be even a little bit more as this game goes along. 4:18 to go, still plenty of time. But again, they're going to have to get some big stops on defense.
They're going to have to get some stops on defense, and at this point you need to. They're already full court pressing. They need to crash the boards on the offense. I know I've said it a bunch of times, but they need to really do that because that's going to be where you're going to be able to get some second chance points, some extra opportunities, and they need every opportunity that they can get right now.
Absolutely. Zeke Austin at the line to shoot 2. His first one is good.
I don't know if they need to put like little lead weights on the bottom of the net or what it is, but
yeah, that net keeps coming up through. So Zeke Austin made 1 of 2 that trip, and it's 66-44. Wolves trail. Back the other way is Merworth. Merworth gives off to Wolbert, gets a screen. Guarded well, though, by the Albany defender. Step back 3, a little bit off the mark, and racing after the rebound. And somehow Merworth comes back up with it. It's going to go out of bounds. Last touch by Albany. Man, surprised we didn't get a call on that one.
A little bit of contact on this near side, but they let that one go through.
Oh, Wolbert will have it, and going to get a foul here on Albany. I think that's going to be on Zeke Austin. And if it is, that's his 4th. It is. So Austin is the guilty Husky as he'll go to the bench area.
Austin's been very impressive tonight. He heads to the bench now because of the 4th foul, but 3:54, I mean, really you could probably let him stay in the ball game to finish her out, but he is, just so you know, he's just a sophomore. Him and Sam Hondel, both sophomores for this squad.
Wow. So they'll be back to help this Albany Husky team. Checking into the game for the first time here this evening, number 33 for the Milaca Wolves. That's going to be Dylan Greninger. And getting them both to drop through is Braden Taylor to make it 66-46. Quickly up the court, though, go the Albany Huskies, and Garrett's, he just found an opportunity he couldn't miss, but he did miss the shot, and Peyton Hunt gets the rebound. And he'll bring it to the front court, and he looks to drive to the basket. We're going to get another whistle here on the Huskies, and that'll be their team's 9th foul. And Tanner Reese will get his 2nd.
And again, this is, you can't just trade baskets at this point in time, but this is something that does benefit Milaca. Again, points without the clock moving.
Absolutely, is Peyton Hunt. First one gets the friendly bounce off the front of the rim and flows through the net.
And not that you want to, as a coach, say just let them score, because at the same point in time, Milaca could come back and be able to do something. But if you're an Albany coach right now, it's, all right, stay in front of them, and if they get by you, just don't foul them. Let the clock continue to roll, because the clock is really your enemy right now when you're up by 18.
Absolutely, as now a little bit of full court pressure here from Milaca, but quickly up the court for Albany. Borgerding. Oh, my goodness. Nice drive and up and in for 2 there by Borgerding, and he didn't have the cleanest of angles to get that shot off, but still made it fall.
Good quick hands to be able to get that one and be able to move that up quickly.
Wolbert, step back 3, no good. Rebounded here by Hondel. And Garrett's now to Hondel, inside to Borgerding. It's knocked away, and it will be Milaca ball. Milaca wanted a charge call there. They didn't get it, but they do get the turnover anyways.
It was close. There was a little bit of contact, but really Garrett's did try to stop himself, and he didn't really run. I mean, Wolbert did go down, but he didn't really go down because of contact. I think he went down expected contact.
Wolbert let the ball roll almost to midcourt before picking it up to try and conserve some time here, as now it's Greninger with it. Back out to Wolbert, a long 3 just off the mark, and Hondel going to grab the rebound for Albany.
Greninger reached in and tied him up. Hondel was a little lackadaisical, just kind of grabbed it and was kind of looking around where to go with the ball, and a smart play by Greninger.
So possession arrow does favor the Huskies, and they'll get set to inbound once again. Full court pressure being shown here by the Milaca Wolves. Looks like they'll get it into Garrett's, and almost got this a little too far on the slip before the travel was called, but manages to stop himself as Zeke Austin has it. He'll give it off on the far side here to Hondel. He drives to the basket, up off the backboard, in for 2.
Milaca's, part of where these buckets are coming from, it isn't necessarily bad defense. It's just a matter of Milaca is really trying to double team the ball, and that leaves somebody open, and Albany's doing a great job being able to pass out of it.
Hondel with the rebound on the missed shot from the Wolves. Zeke Austin's going to drive up the court, but he's fouled there by Greninger. That'll be their team's 11th foul and the first on Greninger. And it it will send Zeke Austin to the line for 2.
20 years ago this year, Milaca went to state in Class AA, but it's looking increasingly like Albany might be able to come away with this one. Milaca, the light is still there. I'm not going to completely extinguish it, but 2:19 to play with a pretty hefty lead for Albany. It starts to make things awfully tough for the Wolves.
It does, but like you mentioned, still time to go. Zeke Austin does not get the second one to fall. He's been 50% here basically this half, and now here come the Wolves. They're going to have to basically get to the offensive side and shoot as they'll try and pass around to try and find an open shot. Trace Haas can't get that shot to fall, but he is fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. It's the 10th team foul now for Albany.
I've been really impressed with Haas's play tonight. Earlier in the section tournament against Annandale, had kind of a so-so night. Was more of kind of a role player against a little bit more aggressive. But tonight he's definitely been kind of a difference maker and kind of the player that I was pointing to really control this ball game. And Milaca just not quite enough firepower to be able to stand up to Albany right now. Albany, I'd be interested to see what the shooting percentages were because Albany is hitting everything. And Milaca they've had times where they've hit everything, but they've also had stretches where they just could not find it.
Trace Haas will hit them both, though, on the free throw attempts. Make it 71-50. So Trace Haas, and Lewis Wolbert both have 16 points here this evening. Great passing. Oh, my goodness. Alley-oop shot. They're trying to show off now. No good. Peyton Hunt grabs the rebound. Back outside to Trace Haas. That's going to come up well short. And
that might have been deflected a little bit on that one. So they're going to chant air ball, but I think that might have been a partial block.
And the Huskies, the other time around, the last possession, they tried an alley-oop from Hondo to Garretts, and it's no good. But now poked out and stolen away here by Bolt. Now to Wolbert, and Wolbert off to Greninger to Hunt to Haas, left wide open for 3, that's good. There's Haas for 3, makes it 71-53. 1:27 to go on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard, and again the net gets hung up on the rim, and Wolbert with the steal. Shot no good. Trace Haas tried to put back. It's still up for grabs. Jump ball call.
Greninger got smoked on that one. He came in for the ball and pushing across Zeke Austin kind of shouldered him right in the noggin, knocking him to the ground. He's still able to get the tie up, but there was a lot of contact with no whistle on that one.
They let that one go, and Milaca will hold on to it with the possession arrow favoring them. 71-53, 1:19 to go. Inbounded here to Wolbert. Wolbert trying to get around the defender. Trying to back his way in, puts up an awkward shot. Almost got it to fall, but it's going to be rebounded here by Tyson Greninger. He'll bring it back up the court. He'll look, he'll stop, and now he'll drive again. Looking, lays it up, in for 2. Tyson Greninger with plenty of points here tonight.
Quick lead pass out for Peyton Hunt with a layup at the other end, and going to get they called a time. Milaca called a timeout, but it was mostly just to be able to get Jagger Ash into the ball game. I think that they're trying to be able to get a couple people in just to kind of rotate through things a little bit as Trace Haas comes off the court, getting hugs from some of the coaching staff. Trace Haas, one of the seniors for this squad tonight. Kyle Martin, Peyton Hunt, Lewis Wolbert, Griffin Bolt, Dylan Greninger, Trace Haas, all seniors that have gotten playing time tonight. You want to add in a handful of other ones with that. Ezra Merchant, as well as Trenton Hounder and Mason Hartung. There's been a ton of players here for this Milaca squad that are graduating tonight, and we knew that in football that they had a senior-laden squad, and they had a great run to the state tournament, and that's going to be the case here with this basketball squad as well, as they just they're not quite going to get to the state tournament with this one. I don't want to call it too early, but I think a minute and 18-point game makes it a little tough. But there's a lot of graduating seniors that have given everything they had to this program that are kind of some of them potentially ending their basketball career altogether tonight.
Yeah, it's unfortunate as the student sections go at it with their chance. Love to listen to the student sections. As they always have some good ones back and forth. And Sam Hondel, he wanted to go up for the dunk, and he is rejected by Lewis Wolbert. Wolbert with the block, and now in some trouble on that edge there was number 15, Andrew Olson, and I think they called a foul there on Milaca. They did. It'll be the second on Jager Ash.
If you've seen the look in the eyes of Sam Hondel when he got that ball, it was, I'm going to the rim, I don't care. And Lewis Wolbert says, I'm blocking this shot, I don't care.
So we will start to see the reserves and the younger guys come in, and maybe even some of the other seniors who didn't get to play.
Trenton Hounder, Mason Hartung, Kyle Martin back into the ball game, as well as Tyson Garrett's. All seniors for this squad. Is I think that what the coach was doing was trying to get the seniors that he could out there to line up, taking the seniors out to bring in more seniors, to be able to give them all an opportunity to be able to walk off the court.
Couple more checking in for Albany. It'll be number 10, 33, and 34. So 40 seconds to go, 73-55 as the Huskies at the line. Did he already shoot one? It should be another one, right? Or am
I thought he already shot one, and then they brought in all the substitutions.
Okay, so he made one of two. So 74-55. And now the Wolves have it.
And now really it's, for the Wolves, it's about getting some players that don't normally score an opportunity to be able to get some points, a chance to be able to hit the court. If nothing else, it's fun to be able to play on a court like this, in a situation like this, packed house, a lot of fans in attendance, and be able to watch things.
Very much so. And again, you mentioned the other guys that are getting in here in the action. That's Mason Hartung, who puts it up and in for two before the game ends, 74-57. So this one is pretty much over for Milaca, sadly. They battled hard. They gave it everything they had. Albany was just a little bit better here this evening as 2-1, and that is it. So the Albany Huskies have punched their ticket to the state tournament with a 74-57 win over the Milaca Wolves. On that Embrace Orthodontics scoreboard, Embrace Orthodontics, they will do all the insurance heavy lifting for you. And if you don't have insurance, ask about financing options. They'll find a plan to fit your budget at EmbraceMN.com. We'll take a commercial break, get a word from our fine sponsors, and then when we come back, we'll wrap up, recap this game, and also give you our thoughts on the season as this ends the winter sports season for Q Media. You've been listening to a broadcast of Section 6AA Boys Championship Basketball here on KBK. Again, we'll take a quick commercial break, get a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with a recap of this game.
Stones Throw Golf Course, nestled along the scenic Rum River in Milaca, is open to the public. They are owned by its members, so every decision made is made by golfers for golfers. Stones Throw Golf Course challenges the serious golfer with a thought-provoking layout, while at the same time relaxing the casual player with its wonder and scenic beauty. It's more than a golf course. It's memories made with family and friends. 18 holes of golfing bliss on some of the best greens this side of the Mississippi. We look forward to seeing you in the spring.
Everyone has a long to-do list nowadays. With a busy schedule, it's easy to forget about yourself. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule a quick and easy checkup with Dr. Matt at Northbound Dental in Ogilvie and Milaca. Dr. Matt and his team believe life is better with healthy teeth and would love to see you and your family soon. Make an appointment today at northbounddental.com or visit them on Facebook. Family Dentistry in Ogilvie and Milaca. We look forward to brightening your smile. northbounddental.com.
Building relationships with hometown service. In its 90 years of business, Milaca Building Center and Foley Lumber has loved serving its community, providing quality lumber and great customer service. Milaca Building Center and Foley Lumber want to thank their valued customers for their patronage and their continued support throughout the years. They look forward to working with you on any of your future needs. Your hometown building center, hardware store, and lumber company, Milaca Building Center and Foley Lumber, building relationships with hometown service.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings. With expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas. When you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
This is Paul Jackson, broker owner of Hewitt Jackson Real Estate in Milaca, located across from Casey's General Store. We have been serving the local community for the past 17 years and would like to wish the Wolves a great experience in playoffs. Come visit our website at www.hewittjacksonrealestate to view not only our listings, but all the listings across the state of Minnesota. And again, go Wolves!
Hey there, this is Destiny at United Country Preferred Real Estate in Milaca. Nobody knows the country like we do. We truly are your local experts in the market. We specialize in lifestyle properties specially for you and have been since 1940. So whatever you're looking for, we can find it for you. Visit us online at ucmilaca.com. United Country Preferred Real Estate in Milaca is a proud sponsor for the Wolves for all Milaca High School sports. Go Wolves!
Minnesota Equipment reminds you that National Ag Week is March 21st through the 27th. Each American farmer feeds about 165 people, and agriculture is America's #1 export. That's really what Ag Week is all about, recognizing the role of agriculture and celebrating it. Minnesota Equipment celebrates local farmers and asks you to do the same. Highway 65 in Isanti or at minnesotaequipment.com.
Kettle River Pizza, the handcrafted pizza made locally in Ascove, Minnesota. Always the highest quality ingredients. Pizza that is consistently great tasting. A true crowd pleaser. 16 varieties to choose from. Enjoy the classics like pepperoni, pepperoni sausage and supreme, to the unique tastes of hot Hawaiian, taco, buffalo chicken, and chicken Alfredo. Pick some up at your local grocer, tavern, or convenience store. Handcrafted Kettle River Pizza. Moms and basketball players approved.
Back here on 95.5 FM, KBEK, the final here in this one. The Albany Huskies get the victory over your Milaca Wolves, 74-57. It was a tough battle here for the Wolves. They did a great job. They did everything they could here in the second half to try and overcome Albany's lead, but sadly Albany just kept on scoring, and they got the victory here, and they will be in the state tournament. And Albany, they are going to be looking for, you mentioned it pregame, some hardware there in the state tournament.
Absolutely. They're one of the top teams in the state. They showed tonight exactly why they are one of the top teams in the state. They just don't miss a lot of shots. Milaca is a team that doesn't miss a lot of shots either, and they were going to need to be able to hit almost all their shots to be able to, stand up to them. And tonight just wasn't quite that night. Whether they were rushing shots or whether they just weren't quite set on it, they just missed more shots than they were going to need to be able to hit in a game like this. And credit on the other side to Albany for taking advantage. I don't think that Milaca gave the game away. I don't think they did anything that would have been detrimental. They didn't have 105 turnovers. Right. They didn't do anything terribly wrong. Anything, I don't even know that I necessarily said too many things that were overly critical. I encouraged them to crash the boards a little bit more because it was available, but I don't think that was anything that, killed their game. Maybe it would have given them a couple of extra offensive opportunities, but I don't think that was necessarily a reason why they lost. Albany's just that good of a ball club, and credit goes to them that, you were going to have to play almost a perfect game to be able to beat them, and Albany showed why they are one of the top teams in AA.
Yeah, they really did, and give credit to both these teams. Great seasons. Looking at it, the stat leaders for the Huskies, 27 points for Tyson Garretts, and I'm sure that he is off to play basketball somewhere once his career is over. 13 points for Sam Hondel, 10 for both Zeke Austin and Ethan Borgerding, and then 9 for Tanner Reese, and 3 for Andrew Olson. Rebound-wise, it was Sam Hondo who led them with 10. He finishes with a double-double. 8 for Tyson Garrett, 7 for Borgerding and 6 for Austin. They had a total of 6 steals, 4 in the second half, 2 in the first, a block, and 14 total team fouls. On the other side for the Milaca Wolves, leading the way was Trace Haas with 19 points, followed by Lewis Wolbert with 16, 11 from Peyton Hunt, 5 for Kyle Martin, 4 from Braden Taylor, and 2 for Mason Hartung, who got in there in the last under minute to go. Leading rebound-wise was Kyle Martin with 8. They had 8 total steals there in this game, 6 in the second half, 2 in the first, 3 total blocks, and 19 total team fouls. And grabbing 5 of those 8 steals was Lewis Wolbert for Milaca, and that just goes to show you how much that this team can do on defense. And you mentioned the turnovers. I would beg to say that Albany might have had a couple more than Milaca in this game, because we've seen Milaca, especially in the second half, they started to create some Albany turnovers here, and I think maybe Albany may have finished with a few more than Milaca, but again, credit is due to Albany because they didn't make too many more mistakes than that. And again, they just admit, you kind of mentioned before the broadcast, or before the game had ended, I would really like to see what the percentages are on their shots, just to see kind of how many they actually did miss.
Yeah, they were able to force a lot of turnovers. They had very quick hands throughout the course of the ball game, and really played a solid game, but just couldn't quite put it all together long enough stretches. I think is probably the biggest thing against this Albany squad. And like I said, Albany went out and they got it. They went in and you can't just show up and expect the win to come your way. You have to go out and get it, and that was what Albany did tonight. But Milaca played a tremendous ball game tonight. The hands were so quick on defense a couple of times with Wolbert. Greninger, I think, had one towards the end. Taylor had a couple of them where they just got hands kind of in whether it be in the passing lanes or just Albany would keep the ball kind of low. You get your hand out there, you knock the ball away. They turn on you, go ahead and keep your hand right where that ball's going to be coming up. You might get him across the arm, you might come away with the basketball. May as well try to go for a steal if you're not going to go for a block. And Milaca came away with quite a few of those and had some opportunities, but just couldn't quite get the firepower on the other end to be able to come away with the victory over the top of Albany.
And it was a fun one to be able to be a part of here at Hollenbeck Hall on the campus of St. Cloud State. The Milaca Wolves, what a season for them. They come into the season, I don't know if they were expecting to do this well, but they exceeded expectations of many. They split the season series with Mora, and it came down to the semifinal game between them two. They get the victory by 1 point in that semifinal game, and then they come here to the championship game against Albany and play a heck of a game. You just can't help but feel that there are 2 stretches there where they kind of went cold, the middle of the first half and then the beginning of the second half, and you just got to think to yourself, man, and we can talk about ifs all we want. The final is the final, but if they were to not have those cold stretches there at the times they did, we're probably talking about this game either in favor of Milaca or a lot closer than what it is.
Oh, and that's one of the things. That's why it's so hard to be able to beat a team like Albany is you can't have those cold stretches because they don't. Mm-hmm. It's not a matter of that you can't because of this, that. It's because they just don't. They just don't have cold stretches. And really that's why they're a one-loss team. They're 28-1. They were 28-1 for a reason. They're a really, really good ball club. They shoot very, very well. One of the reasons why Milaca was the number 1 scoring team and Albany was number 2 is Albany just wasn't in that many games where they had to score that many points. Milaca just fills up the basket, all that they could, but Albany they got into some games where they just didn't need to do that because they played, some pretty solid defense, but all it takes is for you to go through a couple of cold stretches like that, and all of a sudden it's a 20-point ball game.
Right, and it's so unfortunate for Milaca because they certainly were in this one. There was not a point in time where they gave up. There was not a point in time where they were hanging their heads. There was not a point in time where they felt they were out of it. With 3 minutes to go, they looked like they were primed for a comeback. They were on their way, and to be fair, it was about a 20-point deficit almost the entire second half, but then they got it down to 17 by the end of the game, and that speaks to just the fight of this Milaca Wolves team. All season long they've been fighting, they've been battling, and they did a good job here in this one to battle it out till the very end. And again, just a great season here for Milaca. And we want to wish the best to their seniors on their future endeavors. I'm sure a lot of these guys will be playing some sort of spring sport, so we wish them the best of luck whenever the spring sport gets underway. But just a great season for the Milaca Wolves. A fun one here. And of course you're going to be a little bit disappointed. You play in the same conference as Albany and the same section, so you didn't win the conference, but to have 23 wins on the season for Milaca, that is huge. That is big time. Then you beat your bitter rival in Mora to get to the championship game. I mean, a lot of pride that Milaca is going to hold on to this season after obviously this game has ended and they look back on it. Right now the hurt is gonna be there for a while, and that just means that they care. But for Milaca, I mean, what a great season it was, and give them a ton of credit to make it to here. It's not easy to do.
Oh, absolutely. There's only a handful of teams. It really, you take a kind of a grand look at it. You talk about, there's only a handful of teams that win a state championship. There's only 4 teams that win a state championship. Oh, okay. Well, you take that and you extrapolate that out a little bit. That's 4 classes. That's going to be, 8 teams in each class. So that's 32. Double that, 64 teams get to a section championship. That's 64 out of hundreds of schools. This was one of the best teams in Milaca basketball history. Obviously, the state tournament team would probably be the best one, but this team would be right up there with any of the teams that have played for Milaca. So there's a lot of things that you can hang your hat on as far as successes. Tremendous year. And, you talked about them fighting at the end of the ball game. As a coaching staff and as a fan base, that's all you can really ask for is just keep battling, keep fighting, and keep giving solid effort. And Milaca never gave in. Until it was just, there was nothing that they could do.
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate because in the playoffs, one side, utter jubilation, the other side, it's going to be tears of the season ending. But again, good season, great season. Congratulations to the Milaca Wolves on the season that they had, making it to the section championship, beating Mora to get here, and they'll definitely be talking about that for years to come. So the final in this one, the Albany Huskies get the victory over the Milaca Wolves, 74-57. And before we finish wrapping it up, Andy, any final thoughts here on not just this game, but our winter sports season is over?
Well, it's been a fun winter sports season. My year primarily revolved around hockey, but I'm glad I was able to get a chance to be able to see some very solid basketball. We talked a little bit on the way over here, that there's a lot to look forward to, with the winter sports in years to come. And it'll be interesting to see kind of where things go from here. I think that, Ogilvie and Bram girls basketball right back where they were before. How do teams like Milaca and Mora reload, for next year? There's a lot of, questions that are out there and a lot of interesting things moving forward. And it's been a very fun year. We didn't end up getting a team to state, but at the same time, we had 3 different teams that were in section championships. Yeah. In our local area, that's a pretty solid year and a lot of success. And it's it just to bring it back to like this squad in particular. I try not to harp too much, or I don't really mention too much that originally graduated from Milaca, so that's kind of in a way kind of my squad, and very proud of just the effort that they gave tonight. You know what I mean? The tremendous year, tremendous season, and great battle by them up and down the line, getting after it, not giving in, and they get down by about 20, get it back to within 7. They didn't give up, they didn't get rattled, they just kept playing, and that's really what you got to you ask for as a coaching staff, and in a game like this, we always talk about, did you lose or did you get beat? If you lose, you lost the game. It's basically you had too many turnovers, things like that. Milaca just got beat tonight. Albany was the better team tonight, and that's nothing at all whatsoever a knock on Milaca tonight whatsoever. It was a tremendous game that they played. They did everything they could to be able to get this win. Albany's just that much better of a squad tonight, and congratulations to them, but congratulations to Milaca on a tremendous season. A great squad, a great program, and just a lot of things to be proud of for that community.
Absolutely, and again, this wraps up our winter sports season. We will look way forward to the spring sports season whenever that will begin.
Are we going to ever get one?
I don't know. We may be headed towards May, where we'll see a lot of double headers being played again. I know we had that a couple of years ago, but again, congratulations to Albany on their section championship and headed to state, and a huge shout out to Milaca for their season. Such a great season, and to get here, again, no small feat. But again, the final here in this one on that Embrace Orthodontic scoreboard, the Albany Huskies 74, the Milaca Wolves 57. Remember to stay tuned to the morning shows for your sports update on this station, 95.5 FM with Rock and Robin Riley at 7:30 and 8:30. Then over on 100.9 FM with Joshua Miron at 7:45, and 8:45, That's when you can catch your local sports updates. We'll talk about this game, other games around the local listening area, as well as some regional and national sports as well. Also, stay tuned to our websites and our Facebook, kbk.com, wcmpradio.com, and our Facebooks, because then you can catch some of the articles that we put up, as well as cancellations, notices on some of our sporting stuff, as well as news reports. All that fun stuff you can find on our websites and our Facebook pages. And remember to be kind to everyone. You never know what someone is going through. Your kindness could really make their day. So again, the final here in this one to wrap up the winter sports season: Albany 74, the Milaca Wolves 57. For KBEK and Nice 95.5 FM, that's Andy Beckstrom. I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman. Have a great rest of your night and a fantastic weekend.